Hi, happy Good Friday. And I was going to see if I could share it now, but I can't. There we go. So, happy Good Friday. Lovely to see you all. See who's out there. I expect you're all a bit busier today as it's a holiday and you'll have all your family that you're sharing a house with around you. So we've got one person there. I'm not quite sure who that is. Who's out there? I've got a feeling most people are going to watch this one on catch up. So it is actually Good Friday, but I'm guessing you're outside enjoying the sunshine today. But that's all right. I said I'd do it every day, so I shall. So I'll be here Easter Sunday as well. And Morwenna, please like and share. I was going to share this onto some of the pages for things to do if you're locked down, but I can't seem to share when I'm live. I thought I could, but never mind. So if you want to share it at all, that would be fantastic. I'll share it afterwards as usual. Oh, we've got 4 of you now. Who else is there? So we've got more Wenner again. Thank you for turning up again. That's lovely. Hope you're enjoying the lessons. Do catch up on the old ones. There's now 14. This is number 15, so that's not bad, is it? So I've done 15 days in a row. Hi, Michael. There's Emily. Emily, where are these photographs? Come on. And Morwenna, you must have some photos for me as well. Who else is out there? Please like and share right now if you can, because then people can see me live if they want to. That would be lovely. And we've got Pamela. Hi, Pamela. You're fantastic. You've been there every day. I think this is day 15, believe it or not, with me doing these. So that means you can work out how many lessons that you've missed if you have, and you can still backtrack and find them on Art Jeanni. Hi Pamela, thank you for coming along. Who else have we got out there? There's still some more of you. I'm not quite sure who you are. Please like and share right now, and then that means other people can watch it live. I'm guessing today quite a few are going to watch it after they've been outside in the sunshine. My light box was just falling over. I've just stood it up. So I'm in my art room at home where I do lots of my art, and I've got it set up a little bit like a TV studio at the moment because I've got a stand in front of me and a light ring, and I've got a light box over there. So it's all happening. Oh, Pamela, that's lovely that you're enjoying the classes. I hope you're enjoying the sunshine as well. Oh, bless you. Got lots of love hearts going up now. That's nice. Thank you. And do tell your friends about it and let everybody know what I'm up to. There's a few people more there. I went and had a fantastic walk this morning, and I've got some lovely photos that I'll put up later. I went with my next door neighbour and we walked on opposite sides of the road and talked across the road to each other, which was a bit strange, but it was very nice. So who else have we got there? A few more. I won't start again for another couple of minutes, so if you're just tuning in, don't worry, the lesson gets going very quickly, but I'm just always coming a little bit early so that people have a chance to catch on to when I'm starting. Who else have we got out there? Oh, somebody else just popped in. I wonder who that is. Oh, and another one. Hello, whoever you are. Do say hi and tell me where you are and things like that. It's lovely to see it because I always feel a bit strange. I say it most days, talking just to a camera in my room. It feels really strange. Oh, somebody's just finished painting the cards and we'll send them later. Ah, that's Emily. Emily's apparently done the cards that I showed you the other day, and she's painted something, which is great. For anyone new, I keep saying that all the ideas I'm giving you are an idea, and so you can then develop it and use what's around in your house. And it was Henry Ford who always said the only limitation is your own imagination. So I'm giving you an idea. Today I said have toilet rolls and tissues, but if you haven't got that, there's no doubt something else around the house you can use. So don't worry, there's always a way around it. And even now, just as I was getting ready, I thought of a new way of doing part of the lesson, just because something was laying on the desk that I hadn't thought about. So, yeah, that's great if you're painting them. Well done. I can't wait to see them, Emily. Okay, another couple of minutes and then we'll start. And I'm watching a whole lot of seagulls flying around at the moment over Truro. And I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but when I go for my walks now, and even in my own garden, it's full of wildlife. My garden's full of nesting birds and things. I've never seen that before. It's unbelievable. And I haven't got a very big garden. It's tiny, in fact, but it's just full of things happening. I've got blackbirds nesting and all sorts. So that's nice. Okay, another minute or so, then we'll start. And today we're doing, well, I'll show you in a minute. So who else have we got? It will all start in just a moment. We start at 2:30. So as far as I can see, I've got about a minute to go and then I'll begin properly. And you need today tissues. I've got some pipe cleaners. That was one idea. If you've got florist wire, if you've got wooden sticks, I didn't mention that last night, but it was a thought. It depends what you've got. Even some of these wire closure things from plastic bags would be all right. But don't worry, whatever you've got there will manage, and then you can diddle around and find some other bits and pieces afterwards if you need to. Oh, Pamela's got somebody digging holes in her back garden and animals. So I don't know, would it be a mole, I wonder? Maybe. And okay, so we can begin. For anybody new to all this, these lessons I'm doing just as my way of saying thank you to the NHS. I don't feel I can do very much to help, so I'm hoping by doing some of these lessons that people can watch and something for people to do at home, I'm helping in my own little way. So these are completely free, but I also do private lessons in a very unique way. I've used this with the Discovery Channel, Neuroscience Oxford University, UK Sports. So this isn't the way I'm teaching you here. This is just a bit of fun. But this is the progress of a 10-year-old girl in 3 hours, not copying, but completely understanding the core fundamentals of how to sketch. 3 hours on perspective. Even architects have been amazed by what they learnt. That one's usually a walk on the beach, which will be a bit more difficult at the moment, but we can do it other ways. This one is paint and colour, and it's generic to all mediums. So it's a bit like learning to cook before you specialise into one thing. Most people specialise almost too soon without fully understanding what they're doing. The offshoot of that is after that 9-hour course, after maybe 1 or 2 more lessons. This was a 90-year-old stroke victim, and what she did, a 50-year-old German lady after only 4 lessons, and a 40-year-old Sri Lankan man after only 3 lessons did that portrait of his son. All of them started off a bit like this. So it is anybody. I've worked with stroke victims, Parkinson's, all sorts. It's not the way you're taught art at school. I used to teach art in schools, and that's what you're seeing here. This is something else that I've devised. So I'm not giving away those secrets on this. I'm just doing something to entertain families. Anyway, off we go. So today we're going to make some paper flowers, because I thought if Sunday is Easter Day, you could maybe give somebody a bunch of flowers that you've made. Now there's lots of different ways of doing these, and if you want to look around on the internet, I'm sure you can find lots of other ones, but I'll give you a couple of ideas for today. Now I know toilet rolls are very, very precious at the moment, so you might not want to use those, but do remember we're hanging on to the cardboard inners for something we'll do probably at the end of this week. I'm going to use tissues, but you could also use kitchen towel. You could use all manner of things, but you want something papery and thin. Now, oops, let me open these up. And I've got tissues that you pull out of a box as well. Any of them will do. You don't have to worry. It's just the fact they're made of tissue paper that does the thing. So we're going to open up one of these tissues like that. And they always refer to them as having so many plies. Hello, Chris. Nice to see you again. And ply is how many little thin layers of paper are joined together to make the thick one. Now here, if I start picking this apart, these tissues I think are only 2 ply, which is quite normal. And I'm in a minute going to need to pull those 2 layers apart. Now I'm just going to try and catch it so I can show you. I'm struggling here. I usually have long nails, but I don't know about you, but all my nails are broken because of washing my hands so much. So I'm not doing very well on the long nails, and I'm finding this very hard to get these apart today. There we go. In fact, I'm wrong. I think these are 3 plies. So I've pulled 1 ply away. You don't need to do it yet, but just have a look and see how many layers your tissue's got. Don't pull it completely apart though, please. This one's 3 ply. So look, can you see it's got 3 little layers in the one tissue. That's good to know. So I'm going to need 2 tissues. So I'm going to open up the other one like that. And I might, if I'm wise, just open up the corner again on one of these so I've got all 3 plies showing, meaning all 3 layers. I don't need to pull it apart, I just need to know where they are. So if I just pull this one apart a bit on the corner as well, and I've got 1 ply loose of it, and now I need to get the other one free. Yours might only be 2 ply, it might be 4 ply, I don't know. It's going to depend what you're using. If it's toilet paper, I'm guessing it's going to be 2. And it doesn't honestly matter, it just matters that you can get your fingers between the layers. So I have never had so much trouble doing that. It's because I have no nails whatsoever at the moment. Right, there we go, I've got 3. I'm going to put all of that in one corner just so, well, I'm going to put them all in one corner for now, just so I know they're together, all the open ones. And ideally now we're going to open all the corners on the opposite side. So we've opened all of these corners. I want you to open all of these. So I'm just going to force these apart. So I'm going to end up with 6 layers, but only in the corner. So if you can all do that. If yours is only 2 ply, you're going to end up with 4 layers. I wouldn't do more than 6 layers. It will get too complicated. So this is all right. If you've got 4 ply tissue, I'd probably just do 1 layer, as in 1 tissue. But I don't know if any come as 4. I've never seen that, but saying that, I don't go around picking the corners of tissues apart very often, so it might be that there is. Can't get that one for a minute, so I'll come back to it. I'm going to do the other one here now and just pull these layers apart. All sounds a bit like Mary Berry when I say layers. She always uses layers when she's doing her cookery classes. Right, here we go. I've got 3 apart on that one. I'm just trying to pull the layers in the corner of this one apart now, just so I've got it, because that's going to make life a lot easier in a minute if I pull the corners apart now. If you've got more time later, you could even pull all 4 corners apart before you start. You will find it makes it easier, but we can manage with just 2 for now. So we've pulled 2 layers apart and I've got 6 bits there as well. So this is one corner I've pulled apart, and this is the other corner I've pulled apart. Now, this is where you start getting a bit tricky. I'm going to take the 2 corners down here that I haven't pulled apart. So this one's all pulled apart and this one's all pulled apart. And now I'm going to do what we call concertinaing. And to concertina, you're going to fold, first of all, a tiny little sliver like that forward and fold it. And then I'm going to, on that same line, just going to move this light round to help you see better. On the same line, I'm now going to fold back. So I've put one forward, and now the same width as that again, I'm going to go 1 back. And what I want to make is like a giant W going along. So now I'm going to bring this one forward again. And then I'm going to fold back again. Then I'm going to fold forward again. Then I'm going to fold back again. Hello, Jack. You need 2 tissues and you need to pull them apart in the corners like this. And then you need to, it's called concertina it or corrugate it or something. So I'm going forward and back. If you've missed anything, these stay up live on Facebook. You can always just rerun it backwards and see what I said if you've forgotten or if you've missed it. And I've gone all the way down the line. And now can you see, it looks almost like a circus, a clown's frill. It's going up and down and up and down and up and down. All right, so look, I'm going to undo it again just so you remember. We had 2 tissues or 2 bits of toilet paper, that's up to you. And then I opened up the corners of the ply. The ply is all the little layers that make it up. So 2 tissues, each tissue had 3 little layers, and I've just opened up the layers here in the corner, and I did the same over here. I've opened them up. Can you see? Great. Then on the end that wasn't open, I went forward, then I folded back, then I folded forward, then I folded back, and I went all the way down the length of the tissue. Now this is great fun, but if we've got any littlies watching, you've got to promise me you're not going to go and raid all mum's toilet rolls or dad's toilet rolls or hankies, because they're not going to love you at the moment. And that's why I haven't done this sooner, because I kept thinking maybe people won't want me to use up their toilet tissue and their tissues, but I still think it's fun. And as it's Easter Sunday, you can make a nice bunch of flowers for your mum or somebody. All right, so we've done this, and we've got it zigzags like that. So when you've done that, you can do this a number of ways. Now, I've got a blue pipe cleaner. Now, ideally, if it's a flower, it should be green, but does it honestly matter? I don't think so. So I've got a blue one. So one way I can do this is lay the blue pipe cleaner like that with the long bit here that will be the stalk. And then I can bend that over the middle with my zigzags at both ends, right in the middle. And then I can twist it together really, really tightly, because you don't want the hanky falling out. So you need to keep twisting and twisting and twisting the 2 ends together. And then if you look here, you can see they're all twisted together like that. And that will be a rather droopy, flower. That's one option. If you didn't have a pipe cleaner or a piece of florist wire, then you could possibly use a piece of string. Now, I've got sparkly string here for some reason, and I could have just laid that over the middle and then tied it in a very, very tight knot and had these hanging then from a string, which would look quite nice as well. So if you haven't got a pipe cleaner or wire, don't worry. The other option I thought of was to use like a wooden skewer like this, and I could have then maybe tied it with thread and then tied the thread to the skewer, and that would have given it a very solid stem. Just use your imagination. There'll be something around the house you can use. The other option would be to attach it like to a pencil with thread or something as well. Right, so we've got that so far. So far so good. This could be tied together with string, with wool, with cotton, with wire, with, I can't find them anymore. Oh, here they are. You can even do it with these, you know, the little freezer bag wires. You could use one of those, and you could have tied the middle of your tissues together with that, and then tied it maybe to a piece of string or something. That would have worked too. So what we're going to do now, and I'm doing quite a big one here, is we're going to open this out till it comes out as almost half a circle like that. And we're going to open up this side to come out like almost half a circle. And if I push them forward a little bit like that, you can start seeing the beginning of my flower. Now, it doesn't look a lot like a flower yet, but just watch. Now, this is tricky. So if you're little, you might need a pair of adult hands to help you, or a big brother or sister. And what you're going to do is take the very first thin layer of tissue. And do you remember we freed up one corner? So I'm going to use the corner I freed up. And look, this is what I'm going to do. Very, very gently, and you can't pull fast. I'm going to keep moving it gently, gently, little by little, holding it right down near the middle. I'm going to move that tissue forward like that, and that's going to be the middle of my flower. And I can scrunch it together a bit, and it's almost standing up straight in the middle. Can you see? And hardly any of it is still down. Hello Gillian, nice to see you. So that's the first one. Now the best way I've found over the years to do this is don't do the second one on that side, is to come over to the other side and lift up the very, very first piece of tissue again, and very gently, you sort of have to pull one hand away from the other, free that piece of tissue from all the others, and gently pull it to the very, very centre. So we've now got one tissue from either side pulling up towards the middle. So our flower is beginning. Now I'm going to come over to the first side again. And you don't want to just half pull them up. You really want to keep easing them up till you've virtually got to where you tied it together here in the middle. So I'm going to get the next layer. I'm going to pull that one now very carefully. And it's just one thin layer of paper, not 2 or 3, or else this won't work. And I'm doing all the way up. And look, I'm going to pull it just gently here till it's right the way up. There's the next bit of our flower coming up. And you can start seeing the flower arriving now. Now I'm going to go over to the other side, to the open corner where we pulled the layers apart at the beginning. So I've got 6 layers on this flower. And I'm going to pull it all up. Very, very gently, right till I'm right in the middle. Can you see? So I keep pulling it up a little bit like that and holding the other bit back. Now we've got 2 layers on each side of our flower. Now you're going to go over to the other side and I'm going to do the 3rd layer. Now I've got 6 layers to do here, so it's going to take us a moment. So why don't you get on with yours? So that's my 3rd one up gently. Pull it all the way. Don't just go halfway. Don't be lazy. You've got to go all the way with this. And then I'm going to go the other way. I hope you're making yours, Gillian. You need 2 tissues and then you need to concertina them together, going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. So it's like a big long W. And then you need to fix them together in the middle, and then you start bringing, look, 1 layer up at a time. Now this today is meant to be a carnation, but of course it can be whatever you want it to be. And if you adapted it a little bit, I'm now doing my 4th layer. I'm pulling that one up on both sides. And it's really good to release those corners in your tissue before you start putting it together, because it's much harder to do it when you're working on it. It's much easier to have them apart in one corner already. And then we're going to pull that one up very gently. Try not to rip anything. And you can see the flower arriving. They're quite pretty. They could also be, I don't know, I'm not very good at gardening. They're making me think of another flower and I can't remember which one it is. So I'm going to bring up the next one now. And I'm on layer 5 now of 6. You might only have 4 layers. If you want the next flower to be fuller, you maybe use 3 tissues or 3 pieces of toilet paper. If you want it to be less full and less fluffy, then use 1 less. That's why I said everything I teach you, I like the idea that you then change it. And if anyone comes up with a brilliant idea, someone came up with some fantastic ideas the other day, and I can't remember who it was, but I think it might have been Emily actually, but and I think Jack did one day as well. And if you come up with something that would make it easier for me, just tell me, because I'm kind of making these up as I go. And I've pushed my last one up. I think I'm thinking of something like a begonia or something almost, but can you see there's my flower? And if I just pull it in a little bit at the bottom, hello Claire, nice to see you. You can see this beautiful flower on its stem. So if you send me some hearts or something in a minute when you've got to that point, then I'll move on again and I'll show you the next bit. So if you have forgotten what I did, I'm just going to move this a bit closer to me here. And I'm going to attach this to my board just so you can see it there in the background. Oops. So hopefully you can see that one there. And if anyone's just turned up, I think that's Gillian just turned up. I'm just going to do another one quickly. But this time I'm going to alter it a little bit for the rest of you. So I'm going to open up my 2 tissues again like that. Hello Claire. Oh, Pamela. Oh, a peony. Pamela, thank you. That's the thing I was thinking of. It's a peony. I knew it was something and I couldn't think what it was. You're right. It does look a bit like a peony. I knew it was reminding me of something else. So once we got the 2 tissues, we took the corner and we separated out the different plies, the different layers of tissue just in the corner. And when I'd done that one, I then did exactly the same over on the other side. So I opened up all 6 layers here. As I said, I'm struggling now to pull things apart because my fingernails have all gone with all this hand washing that we're all doing at the moment. But I think I'd rather wash my hands than not have the nails, so that's all right. But it's just taking me longer to pull these apart than usual. If you're a little person, you might need a bit of help from mum or dad. So, and as I said, these ideas are all meant to be kind of family ones. I'm going to do a few things that are a little bit more fiddly today, tomorrow, and over the Easter weekend, because I'm pretty sure there might be somebody around to help you. In the week, I'll go back to doing slightly simpler things just in case there isn't, but I'm making the assumption, rightly or wrongly, there might be some adult hands to help you. I've now gone over to the other corner, and I'm just opening up the layers there. And I'm not going to finish that, but I'm going to just show you how we'd open up all 6 here, and I should have opened up all 6 here. Then I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm going to turn forward, then I'm going to fold it back, then I'm going to fold it forward, then I'm going to fold it back, and I'm going along making it into a giant zigzag. So I'm not going over and over, I'm just going backwards and forwards. Now this time I'm not going to make it into a carnation, I'm going to make it into something else. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to fit it all together. Now this time I'm going to use one of these plastic bag closure things, so you can see me using different things. Don't think that I'm using the best thing, I was just using the first thing that came to my hand. And this time I'm using plastic bag closure thing, and I'm spinning that round to hold it all together nice and tight. You don't want it flopping around. And then this time, before I pull it out, I'm actually going to cut that corner there around, and I'm going to cut this corner here around. That's actually, I'm going to cut my open corners away, not my best idea, but anyway, you get the idea. And then I'm actually going to cut down and cut a little bit out, rounding round in the middle like that. And I've now cut myself almost 2 petals over here. And if I did the same here and just cut round the corner, I don't want to lose lots of size of this, I just want to make it so it kind of comes in the middle and out again and makes a petal. I think these are rather nice not doing this, but it's just a thought if somebody wants something a bit more complicated. And I might even cut that line in the middle, right down the middle there, just so I separate my petals out even more. But you've got to cut very carefully, and I'm just going to do the same over here. So I'm only cutting into the middle. Now I've got kind of 4 leaves, petals. And then this time I can show you how I could do exactly the same with this. And this time you could end up with something, if you were using like red tissue paper or something for it, that would look maybe more like a poppy or even a rose. So you can bring the leaves in one at a time again. You could potentially leave them as all 3 layers together and make it less petals this time. And this one looks a little bit more like almost, oh, Pamela, you're going to have to help me out again. It's like a wild rose or something almost. So this time I haven't separated everything out, and I could actually twirl a couple of these in the middle in a bit tighter, like this, and make it look even more like a kind of rose or something. So we've got a slightly different look. So the very first one I did, pulling the tissues out, I just pulled them out completely and we've got something more like a carnation. This one I pulled them out more in petals and let them be a bit thicker, so it's slightly different. Ah, someone there's suggesting you can almost make a butterfly this way as well. Yeah, that's a really cool idea. Or a poppy. That's what I was thinking. If that was in red, it would be a poppy, but you'd have to use tissue paper rather than tissues. Now, a couple of really nice things to do to these to finish off today is, once you've done that, something I used to love doing was, my friend and I, Jackie, if she happens to be out there, we used to make these endlessly when we were children, and we sometimes put perfume on them to make them smell nice like flowers. The problem with that is once they've got wet, they go all limp, so that didn't work. But the other thing we used to do was get a felt pen and then just draw over the edges like this very quickly, and you can see it starts giving them like a slightly pink edge. You don't want to colour them in, but we're just making them look a little bit more like, I'm trying to get it so you can see. Can you see where it's got a little pink tinge on the edge? And that makes it look a little bit more like some of the carnations that you buy in the shop. So you could go round, you could even use a very dry paintbrush without wet paint on it and go over, and you could colour the edges a bit. I mean, if you wanted to be really careful, you could colour them round the other way like this and follow the edges. But colouring the edges makes the crinkles in them show a bit more. You could put a little bit of glue on it and dip them in glitter. That would be pretty. Yeah, that's a really good idea, Emma. Fantastic idea. And I do love it when you give me ideas, because I'm at home each day thinking, oh, what should I do tomorrow? What can we do? And sometimes I'm using some of my old teaching lessons, but sometimes I'm making them up. Like the NHS nurses, I just made that up yesterday and took a few hours sorting out how I was going to teach you to do it. So I'm always happy to mess around and try different things. Now, to make this look more like a carnation, quite a good idea is to get somebody to hold it together for you. I haven't got anyone to. Oh, was it Jack who said about the glitter? Brilliant idea. Right. And then I'm going to tie the petals together here at the bottom like that. And can you see I've made myself a little lump at the bottom, and underneath carnations you often have that. It's like kind of the bit where the flower comes out of it. And Pamela, you're going to have to help me out again. I can't think of the names of any of the bits of flowers at the moment, but there we are. So it's sort of gathered it together there, and then I can sort of pull it back out again, and it looks even more like a proper flower then. Now, I haven't got any, but if you had crepe paper, a really nice idea is to make yourself a piece of crepe paper like this. And that's why I said you've got to just manage with what we've got. But if you cut yourself a piece of green crepe paper like that, but mine's red paper, and folded it into 4 like that, and just cut out, you could make a piece like that, make a little hole in the middle of it, and then you could post that in crepe paper up to go around this bit of the flower like that, and it would work its way round it if it was crepe paper, because it would stretch. And then you could bind with a very thin piece of crepe paper, a bit like a ribbon of it, all the way down your stem to make it look more like a flower. Now, I haven't got crepe paper here, which is strange. I thought I did, but also I doubt many of you have got it at home. But if you've got anything, it might be some tape from a sewing box or something, or you might have some nice wrapping paper. And don't believe that plants have to be green. They don't have to be for this. Mine at the moment is blue and white, which is a bit weird, but there we go. So I'm now going to stick a little strip of silver paper, and I'll stick it to this top bit first with sellotape, and then look, I could wind that all the way down the stalk, and I could have maybe put silver glitter on this one, and I could turn it into a silver and white flower. Oops, or even a silver and blue and white flower, which it does that. And you could glue or sellotape all of that in place, and I could have put a silver piece up under here in that same way that I just suggested like that. But if that was silver paper, I could have fixed that up underneath. So paper flowers, when I was little, which was a million years ago, you used to be able to get packets of tissues in multicolours. I haven't seen those in years. I don't know if anyone else has. So I used to sometimes make pink carnations and blue carnations and then colour their edges in a suitable colour. If by any chance you thought it was all too big, you can give them a nice little haircut and trim them back a bit if you felt it was a bit too full. And you could always make them smaller, make more of them. You could join them together. If you did yours on a string, you could attach a whole lot of them to a string and have it like hanging down from a window or a door. And also, you could, if you've got some green card, and if not, you could use some felt pens or something to colour some green card. You could cut yourself some small bits of green, like that, and then fold it in half. And I'm going to cut this into the shape of a leaf. So I'm cutting up the stem and then round the leaf, and then back from the top of the leaf back down to the stem. And even if I wanted to leave the stem blue on this, I could put my leaf here, and I could even wrap my stem around that leaf because I've left it joined together in the middle. And then I've got a couple of little leaves on my stalk. So you could then draw lines on this if you wanted to. You could fold them down the middle, because I like folding things because that gives it a shadow. And can you see how that one looks much more like a leaf than that one? I haven't done anything except fold it, but by folding it, it makes one side light and one side dark and makes it look more like a real... Oop, it's dropped off. Whoops, daisy. Right, there we go, back on again. And you could sellotape, if you were using a skewer, you could sellotape things on, you can bind things around, you could put the piece up under here, and you can generally have a jolly good fiddle around with it. That was the one, this was the one where I didn't separate everything so much, and this one looks even more like, what was it you said it was, Pamela? I've forgotten. Magnolia or whatever it was. No, it wasn't Magnolia, Camellia, I think. So you can see exactly the same idea. One, we cut it into petals before we pulled it out. One, we left it just as a whole carnation. And this could have been like a poppy. Yep. If you wanted to, you can just fiddle around. Now, I've got this sparkly paper that I'm dying to use for something, but maybe I'd make my leaves and petals pink sparkles and use pink ribbon down the stalk, and then I could even put pink felt pen on the edges of the tissue. Be very, very gentle when you make these, because if you're too rough, it all starts falling apart. So you've got to be extremely gentle. Now, today, if you'd be so kind, please like and share it. I didn't think so many people would watch today because it's a busy day, but I hope people watch it on catch up. So please like and share it again as you have other times. It really helps me get it out there that I'm doing this. And also, if you know anyone that might be interested in the full lessons, please let them know about me. And also I do big events for companies and things, as I said before. If you dyed it, someone's just asked, the problem is it all gets too wet and it starts falling apart. If you were going to put anything wet on it, I think you'd almost have to have a hairdryer there to be drying it almost immediately to stop it all going all soggy. And I suppose at worst, if you wanted, it could be a powder puff. There you go. You could do a little bit of makeup touching up with it. Anyway, so have some fun making some flowers. I would like to see some bunches of flowers maybe standing in vases or wrapped up. I suppose I've got this lovely stuff that was from a bunch of flowers I think one of my daughters sent me. And you could even like wrap them up like it was from a florist at the end. And when we used to live in Australia as a family, something they used to do that was beautiful was they used to wrap single flowers. And when it was young ladies' birthdays at school, then all their friends would buy them whatever they could afford. And it would be 1, 2 or 3 flowers. And they would have them individually wrapped. And they would each give the girl in the class whose birthday it was the flowers that they could afford. And the girl would then go home with this huge bouquet of flowers, but each flower was from a different person. I always thought that was something really lovely. So if anyone out there has a florist shop, think of that as an idea, because it's a great way of getting people to start thinking of buying flowers. But also it was fantastic for the person whose birthday it was, because they got a huge armful of flowers, but from all their friends. So that was nice. Anyway, lovely to see you. Enjoy the rest of your Good Friday. I will be here tomorrow and all over the weekend doing different things. As I said, I'm going to do slightly more fiddly things over the weekend on the grounds that I'm assuming there's going to be probably adults around to help if there are littlies. In the week I'll go back to keeping it so that anybody can do it. Okay, so they will still be great fun and they'll still be really interesting, but like this flower one, it's a little bit more fiddly, but it's still great fun to do. Please show me. I like them in white personally. I've got a thing about that. And even if you, I just had another idea, just a second. This would not be the right colour, but I'll tell you what, maybe this is my moment for my pink sparkly stuff. This might be it. What you could do would be make a card like that and actually stick your flowers, now there's a thought, onto the card and actually stick your stems there. So there you go. Right. Whatever suits you. is fine. That could be a card and we could stick the flowers on it. That would be rather nice as well. And it doesn't have to have sparkles. And as Jack said, you could always put glue on the edges and sparkle it for yourself. Take care. See you all soon. See you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of the day. Bye. Please like and share. Thank you.